Welcome to our channel. Today we will explore one of the most remarkable moments in modern history, the fall of the Berlin Wall. On November 9, 1989, the world watched in shock and joy as a symbol of division and oppression crumbled, uniting a city and eventually an entire nation. In this video, we will uncover the events that led to this historic night, the emotional stories of those who lived through it, and the global consequences of this event. Get ready for an exciting journey through time, where we will see how the fall of the Berlin Wall not only transformed Germany but also shaped the future of Europe and the world. Don't go away, because what follows is an unmissable trip through history. After World War II, Germany was divided into 4 occupation zones, controlled by the United States, United Kingdom, France, and the Soviet Union. Berlin, the capital, was also divided the same way, despite being entirely within the Soviet zone. In 1949, these zones transformed into 2 countries, the Federal Republic of Germany, West Germany, and the German Democratic Republic, East Germany. In 1961, the East German government, supported by the Soviet Union, built the Berlin Wall to prevent the mass exodus of its citizens to the west. The wall, which began as a barbed wire fence, quickly transformed into a fortified concrete barrier, with watchtowers, trenches, and armed patrols. Over the 28 years of the wall's existence, more than 100,000 people attempted to escape, but about 5,000 succeeded. Many others were captured or lost their lives trying. For the inhabitants of East Berlin, life was marked by severe restrictions on freedom, constant surveillance, and political repression. The Stasi, the state's secret police, monitored all aspects of citizens' lives. Any attempt to cross the wall was punished with imprisonment or even death. Families were separated, and distrust permeated society. Despite the repression, resistance movements began to gain strength. Churches and underground groups became centers of opposition to the communist regime. Music, literature, and theater also became means of expressing discontent. Figures like Wolf Biermann, a famous dissident poet and musician, inspired many to fight for change. The policies of openness and reform in other Soviet bloc countries, such as perestroika and glasnost in the Soviet Union, led by Mikhail Gorbachev, encouraged East German citizens to demand change. News of reforms and protests in other Eastern European countries, such as Poland and Hungary, also fueled hopes of freedom. In 1989, a series of pro-democracy protests swept through Eastern Europe. In East Germany, massive demonstrations, known as the Peaceful Revolution, demanded political reforms and the opening of borders. Leipzig became a center of protests, with the Monday demonstrations attracting thousands of participants. International pressure on the East German government increased. Western leaders, such as U.S. President Ronald Reagan and German Chancellor Helmut Kohl, made speeches and took actions that supported the protesters' cause. Reagan's famous phrase, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall," echoed around the world. On November 9, 1989, a communication error led to an unexpected announcement by East German government spokesman Günter Schabowski, who stated that the borders were open immediately. Thousands of Berliners flocked to the wall's checkpoints, forcing the gates open. Emotion filled the streets, with people from both sides celebrating together, climbing the wall, and beginning its symbolic demolition with hammers and pickaxes. The fall of the wall was the first step toward German reunification, formally completed on October 3, 1990. This marked the end of German division and was a clear signal of the collapse of communism in Europe. Reunification brought significant economic and social challenges but also paved the way for a new era of prosperity and freedom. The fall of the Berlin Wall accelerated the disintegration of the Soviet Union and the end of the Cold War. Eastern European countries began to adopt democratic reforms and integrate into Western institutions like the European Union and NATO. The world entered a new era of international cooperation, with many former Soviet bloc countries transitioning to democracies and market economies. The fall of the wall also had a profound cultural and psychological impact. Generations that grew up divided began to rebuild family and social ties. The freedom to travel, work, and express oneself brought about a cultural renewal, with an explosion of creativity in the arts, music, and literature. These stories show us the human impact of this historic event. The fall of the Berlin Wall was not just the end of a physical barrier but also the beginning of a new era of freedom and unity. It was a triumph of the human spirit over oppression, a moment that still inspires the world today. Did you enjoy this video? Then don't forget to leave a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating content about history and world-changing events. Hit the bell to receive notifications for new videos. And tell us in the comments, where were you when the wall fell, or what do you know about this historic moment? We would love to hear your stories. See you next time.